78 of Swiss Army Sports. I'm your host, Will Spain, former long snapper for the Troy Trojans, Osby Governors, and partially Houston Cougars. Joined by my side, not Luke, not Chase. No, this is the first time ever we've recorded this particular panel on an episode. It is the producer, Big Mike, Michael Spain. Welcome to the show, producer.
Will has all the Infinity Stones collected.
I do. I've done a solo. I've done me and Chase. I've done me and Luke. I've now done me and Michael, and I've done me, Luke, and Chase. I've done all four of us. The Infinity Stones are collected. Agenda for today's episode 78 on July 21st in the Big 26. It's the free ball episode. Michael has suggested we just kind of do a kind of like a normal podcast. We just talk about anything that comes to mind in terms of sports. Today, again, is July 21st, Big 26. Obviously, you know, we have been doing a lot of recapping on this podcast, a lot of predictions. That's kind of been our model as we head into the dog days of summer. Yes, we do love baseball. We do. We really do.
I don't love it at the moment, actually, because the Cardinals are choking games left and right.
Yeah, yes, they are. And we will cover plenty of the EFL and EPL as they come into full swing, and even touch a little bit on the MLS, but I guess we can touch a little bit on the MLS today. We have games on Wednesday.
I could pick my EPL team.
You could pick your EPL team today. We'll do that. I guess either he'll just pick, or are we going to do a will decide?
Oh, it's gotta leave it up to chance.
We gotta leave it up to chance, I guess. So I'll go ahead and we'll get a will decide at some point during this episode. But free ball episode. So I'm going to kick it to you, producer. Since this is your idea, what's the first topic of conversation you want to kind of tackle?
Yeah. It is July, and we're missing some football right now. So I thought maybe like it's Christmas in July, we'll do a little football in July. I got both college and NFL stuff to talk about. That's just been on my mind lately. Right now, I don't know about you, scrolling through TikTok and Instagram Reels, like I'm starting to get the fantasy football stuff on, trying to think of my team and who to pick and who not to pick. Because, to be honest, once August and September hits, that takes a pretty big part of our lives.
No, for sure, it does.
And especially this year, because we are Yahoo people, which is kind of controversial, I guess, these days. Or I would say like old school Yahoo is, because now like Sleeper and ESPN does stuff that mostly people hop on. But yeah,
you got to let the people know. We've had this Yahoo League
literally since I was like,
this will be the ninth season.
8 years.
I don't know. The ninth season.
It's been a while. And Will has never won the championship, by the way. So.
This is year 9. I am a 3-time runner-up. I've never missed the playoffs. But
he's the Bills. You could say he's Josh Allen of our fantasy football league, to be honest. He basically is.
Yeah.
He always makes the playoffs, but never can really pull through all the way through. Will has made the Super Bowl, though. But yeah, but Yahoo's releasing college football fantasy, which I think is going to be really fun.
That is going to be super fun. Have you looked in at all, like, the format of this?
No, I saw some stuff that he said that you have to, like, pick whole offenses or defenses.
Yeah, so they give you the option to pick entire offenses and defenses. I thought that was pretty cool, especially the offense, because that's not something you see in the NFL.
Yeah, it would just be like not necessarily this year, even though their schedule is still not bad, but like all you had to do was pick Ole Miss's offense last year, and you just got to look at a team that has a weak schedule and go with their offense. But that's a strategy, because some of them are, but then you take a risk, if like pick a Big Ten team, even though Big Ten's a really good conference, but they don't really score a lot of points like Big 12, or like even like imagine if you would have picked like a USF or a North Texas.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they are only doing. I say.
Oh yeah, they're only doing Power 4
guy, but they are only doing
Power 4.
Power 4 league.
That would be. You know how many input rosters they would have to do for all both Power 4 and G5, how many players that is. That's an insane amount of players.
Yeah, it really is. And I was actually looking at this college football league. I've got the draft set for tomorrow. I'm gonna have to change that.
How many people do we have in it right now?
We got 7 right now.
I can get some of my folks too.
Yeah, and I feel like some people that want to join just haven't done it yet.
I think I clicked on it. I don't know if I'm in it though. I don't know if you can check, but
Oh wait, I've got to set it for August 22nd. Good.
yeah, I was about to say
July.
July.
That'd
It's
been
like we're
nuts.
not drafting in July.
Yeah. So fantasy football wise, what do you want to get into?
I was gonna give you well, just gets talks about there were 5 rookie wide receivers drafted in the first round, and I'm just gonna list them off to you. Then I want you to probably pick the guy that's gonna have the most day one impact on their team, and probably will be taken, I guess, first in your fantasy lineup if they fall to you. But like, yeah, who are you most high on out of these rookie wide receivers? So, Carnell Tate was the first wide receiver taken. He got drafted by the Titans, obviously from Ohio State, which is, a lot of people say is wide receiver U. Jordan Tyson from Arizona State got picked to the Saints. Makai Lemon from USC got picked to the Eagles. Casey Concepcion got picked late in the first round to the Browns. And then Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana got picked to the Jets. But yeah, I was going to ask, who do you think is going to have the most impact day one out of these rookie wide receivers in the first round? Because obviously, if you're drafting a receiver in the first round or anyone in the first round, you want them to have impact on the first season. And some of these guys are put in better situations than others. So I was just wondering what your take was on them, and maybe who are you if you were to draft one of these in your fantasy lineup, who are you going to take?
I mean, I honestly, I think and not saying this because he was the first wide receiver drafted. I think it's just the best fit. Carnell Tate, for the Tennessee Titans. One, the Titans needed a steady wide receiver one desperately. As an owner of Shamir Adike, for his return yards last year, he all kind of flourished into the wide receiver 1B for Tennessee, and he is not a wide receiver 1B in the NFL. All respect to Shamir Adike. So I think Carnell Tate is absolutely bound to have a big year. I'm kind of a believer, in this Titans team, kind of what they're doing with their youth, but two, I'm definitely kind of a believer in Cam Ward. I think he has the right kind of mindset for an NFL quarterback to kind of lead this young team into the future for the Tennessee Titans. I mean, this is a Tennessee Titans team that was really competitive, Michael, around the mid 2010s with Marcus Mariota, and they just kind of sold everything, tanked.
They got rid of AJ Brown.
Yeah, and then
Derrick Henry.
Dominoes fell after.
Yeah,
you rid of 2 franchise players. Dominoes fell after that. So yeah, I'm big on Cam Ward, but and I'm really big on Carnell Tate. But I definitely think a guy to look out for is going to be Jordan Tyson. Not because necessarily again his talent, but I do think this New Orleans Saints team is on the uprise. I got bought in last year. Can't believe I'm saying this on Tyler Shock. I mean, I really was. I thought he played and flourished well in the last half of the NFL season last year. And I mean, I think we're kind of past the days of Chris Olave. And so.
That's a crazy take, but we'll
get
into actually talk about Chris Olave later.
I think we're kind of past the days of Chris Olave. And so this is someone who I look at drafting every year, and I honestly kind of get him because he falls to me, and he's just kind of a non-factor. And I think you need some youth. I think you need some speed, and I think Jordan Tyson will be a perfect fit for the New Orleans Saints in that respect. So I'll pivot back to you. Who are you taking out of the rookie wide receivers that they fall to you, and how do you think they're going to perform in their respective schemes?
Yeah, I agree with you. The first two are, they're both picked top 10, so they're. Hopefully you would think that they're going to have a large target share and they're going to get some action. I like Jordan Tyson more as a wide receiver, especially in the offense that the Saints are in with Kellen Moore, because he's made Tyler Shaw a very legit offensive quarterback, and their offense was doing very well. Now, I'm probably staying off these receivers until I'm probably picking them as my
That's a great question.
Third wide receiver flex, probably like in the 5th or 6th round.
Do you think in most leagues, and even because we are a 12-team league, and we're a pretty high ball knowledge threshold in the league. Do you think those players would be around, like Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson would be around for like a
I think
WR3 flex pick?
And yeah, I think Tate is going to get picked probably pretty early. I'm not going to lie. He's, like you said, he's automatically probably put in the wide receiver one for the Titans, and Cam Ward can sling the ball. So I don't know. I'm scared on rookie wide receivers just because you just never know really, but I'll probably stay away from Tate unless he falls somehow to like the fifth round, but I don't think that's just gonna happen. But I mean, a guy I would like to snag really late is Omar Cooper Jr. for the Jets. I mean, you got Geno Smith at the quarterback helm, which he throws the ball. Like there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. He slings the ball around.
Yeah.
You only have Garrett Wilson, and I think you have Kenyon Sadiq on there as well. I think he got drafted by the Jets, who is basically a wide receiver at tight end. So, and then Omar Cooper Jr., who was very good for Fernando Mendoza, Indiana. I think that would be a sneaky 12 or like 10 through 12 round pick that you could have someone store on your bench, and then after like 4 or 5 games in the NFL, he starts coming on into his role and being a solid flex or even a starting wide receiver for you.
So, yeah, for our league specifically, I believe we have like, let me get this right. We have like 18 rounds, like 17 or 18 rounds.
Yeah.
Who is, keeping on the topic of rookie, they don't have to necessarily be a wide receiver. Some sleepers. And I've got two in my mind immediately.
Yeah, you can go for yours. Go for your mind.
Okay, because I did a little quick research and it reminded me that, I was heard on this podcast talking about this guy pre-draft. I am big on Chris Brazzell the second out of Tennessee. 6'4", vertical receiver, can absolutely be the end zone deep threat for Carolina. We've got Bryce Young quarterbacking this offense that really came to fruition last year, made the playoffs, almost won a playoff game against the LA Rams. They're kind of lacking their go-to guy on the outside. And at 6'4", with his speed, and he really dazzled and was kind of a highly touted prospect early in the season last year out of Tennessee. And as a Tennessee hater, that I'm stepping on tax when I'm saying this, but I really like Chris Brazzell for the Panthers. Another guy I like is Devon Claiborne for the Vikings. I mean, Claiborne coming out of Wake Forest was a very versatile back. Aaron Jones is, very injury prone. This is something that either you can pick up off waivers or like late 16th round. I think Claiborne will absolutely be able to be there. Aaron Jones coming off a very low efficiency year last year, and Claiborne could honestly earn this role, a starting role, kind of midway through the season, and could literally be a free RB2 in round 14 or later. So any sleepers in your mind in terms of fantasy players for rookies?
Yeah. I think I just mentioned him also, but Kenyon Sadiq is basically a wide receiver at the tight end position for the Jets, and he was very good at Oregon. He's just basically like a Brock Bowers. That's what it is. It's the new tight end form, and he was very good. And I love he's going to be in a passing offense on the Jets with Geno Smith at the helm at QB, no matter if the Jets even win a game or not, but he's going to get volume. And then I would tell people to take the risk on Jadarian Price, who is the backup running back for Notre Dame that got drafted the last pick in the first round by the Seahawks. Charbonnet tore his ACL. Kenneth Walker is no longer on the team. He is the RB1 on the reigning Super Bowl champions on a very good offense with Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's just going to have an immediate role impact, and he will be a pass-catching running back just because that's how Seahawks offense is. And when we talk about what the Seahawks lost, they lost a lot on the defensive end and then Kenneth Walker. Other than that, they didn't lose much on the offensive end. And his starting running back was Jeremiah Love. So, of course, he's not going to have the stats in college football that makes you scream that oh, I need to draft this guy. But I would take the risk on Price. Love scares me to death. I don't know if I'm gonna draft Love.
I think Jeremiah Love is going to be an absolute player this year in fantasy. He's going to have to be. He's going to be on a 4-win team that's going to have to be run reliant.
I don't know if the Cardinals win a game this year.
I was looking at the schedule. I think I have him for 3.
I mean, I think Brissett's the quarterback.
And Jacoby Brissett's no slouch. Don't get me wrong.
No, he's not. But it's just like I have a feeling that Love is gonna have a little bit of the same year as Genty did his first year, where you're the third overall pick, and you are automatically defenses are probably already game planning off of you, because Marvin Harrison Jr. has been a good receiver, but he hasn't been like
what everybody thought it was
the weapon that like defenses are keying off of, like a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, who we thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was going to be on that level. But Jeremiah Love is that. He is that guy. And so I think defenses are going to be run first against Arizona, and I think it's going to be a little tough for him. But yeah, I would take the risk on Price. I just think that he probably fell into the best. I mean, he's reigning Super Bowl champion, so he fell into probably one of the best opportunities as a rookie offensive skill position. So yeah, I mean, yeah, the rookie offense players this year that got drafted are going to be good, because you got like Mendoza, you got Tyson, Tate, Love, you got Sadiq, you got Lemon. Lemon's going to be interesting. He's automatically put in that wide receiver 2 role with Devontae Smith being on the outside. Lemon is probably going to play that slot, or honestly, they could be interchangeable. He's going to have immediate impact too. Do not be afraid to draft Mekhi Lemon. He's going to be definitely getting some pass catches. But yeah, just because of the Browns, I would not touch Casey Concepcion.
You notice how I never said his name.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I can't. I mean, with Shedeur Sanders at the helm,
He's a very talented receiver, very shifty, but like you just don't know what the offense is going to look like. So I'll draft him in the last round or the second to last round.
Yeah, take a flyer on him if he's available. But
so yeah, I mean that's what we got for the rookies right now. We'll definitely get into it more as the NFL season comes on, but it should be pretty exciting rookie years for a lot of these guys.
Anything else you wanted to cover next?
No. I mean, we do
Okay,
have
so
something
you
to
wanna
talk
pivot to
about.
me? Let's talk about this, because we usually don't cover fight nights on the pod, so I'm not going to include it on the predictions if we record on Thursday. But we do have a UFC fight night over in the UAE between headlined by Ankalaev and Bogdan Guskov. There's a couple fights on here that I wanted to talk about, just because either one, they're up and coming stars, and we don't really give the time to talk about them. When we're deep diving into a UFC card, when we're only talking about the main card. And then I wanted to just kind of talk some, future potential matchups and what you think's going on in certain divisions. We kind of did this the other day with Luke and Chase, but you weren't on the pod that week, I believe. You might have been. But
I did it with after the White House card, but not the
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What was the card that just happened? Frick me.
Yeah. We
Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
329. 30.
No, it was 3:30, but
yeah, 31's in Philadelphia.
it was McGregor. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
The McGregor card.
You're McGregor. The first guy I want to talk about is Magomed Tuchalov against Brendan Ribeiro. Magomed making his UFC debut against Ribeiro. He is 6-0 out of Russia, nicknamed Tiger. He has 5 wins by knockout, 1 by submission. He is 6-0. They kind of threw him a can here with Ribeiro, who is 17-10, a UFC veteran. He did lose last time out to Yakea.
That doesn't even have a picture on the UFC
Yeah, he doesn't even have a picture on the UFC website. He comes in at a minus 750 favorite. So obviously, I'm not trying to talk y'all into betting advice here, but this is someone that I am kind of looking out for in terms of potential light heavyweight contenders down the road. And a couple things stand out to me. One, he is 6'5". He is a big light heavyweight. He has sizable reach. Like I said, he literally has an 100% finish rate. I'm very interested to see what he does here with Brendan Ribeiro, because we've seen in the past, especially with guys that are coming in with undefeated records, debuting in the UFC, they're kind of tentative when they come out, and you could end up getting a decision here for Magomed Tuchalov. But I like to see a knockout here. What do you take away off a quick look off of Magomed, and what do you think he'll do to poor Ribeiro?
Yeah, this is unfortunate for Ribeiro, but back to what you were saying. I mean, I think he probably will finish him in the first round. Out of his 6 fights, he has 4 first round finishes. But I'm all here for it for someone coming up in the light heavyweight division. I mean, it's pretty much no debate that the light heavyweight probably is the weakest division right now in the UFC. I mean, you have a blown out knee, guys. Your champion in Olberg, even though that fight was amazing. You got Jiri, who is allergic to winning the big fight, and then you got you got what, Paul Costa, and that's it.
Yeah, that is pretty much it.
Yeah, it's rough. It's looking rough on the like selling tickets. Like it's gonna be hard to sell a light heavyweight main event unless it's Yuri, basically. And so I would love to see this up and love to see Magomed, just climb up this ladder. I mean, at this point, you got Robert Whitaker in there tier. And if you got an undefeated guy like this, if he wins this, I mean, I don't see why you just don't say F it and throw him into like
I do think
basically like just throw him into a big name and see what he does, because this guy needs to get a spotlight. Because if you have a guy who's talented and 6-0 in a weak division, just I don't see what's the reason. You should just throw him into the fire and see what happens.
So Deep Waters, the UFC podcast, was our boy Did Thomas was talking about this. In terms of Gable Stevenson in the heavyweight division, typically the UFC likes to build up fighters, not like boxing does, where they just feed them, I mean, like absolute cans, but they do like to, essentially make them earn their keep and like kind of work their way up the ladder instead of just immediately throwing them into the ranks. And I agree with you. If a division is hurting, like the light heavyweights, like the heavyweights, you do need to push these guys and really truly see what they're made of. And I would like to see Muhammad Said maybe get a ranked fight if he gets a quick finish. Not Muhammad Said. That's the guy I want to talk about. Magomed took all of get a quick finish if he push him into a ranked fight. But again, segueing into what I wanted to talk about next, Dustin Jacoby. He has 3 knockout wins in a row. One in I think each of the last 2 years, 24, 25, and 26. He on Tapology is the number 16 UFC light heavyweight. So just outside the rankings, probably on the meta. He's fighting 9-0 Muhammad Said. Muhammad said coming out of
you said Dustin Jacoby?
Yeah, the UAE Warriors.
UFC has him ranked 10.
In the meta?
And they're what?
Yeah. Okay. Well, they don't have them listed as ranked. I guess they still do the media rankings on the cards, which is stupid. They should absolutely
whatever. He's good.
Yeah. So he's on the absolute tear. Speaking about dudes getting a big chance immediately, 9-0, Muhammad Said, coming out of the UAE Warriors, gets this prelim bout on this UAE card. Muhammad Said won 1 minute into his fight last time out against a 2011 Luis Henrique da Silva on UAE Warriors 71. Literally, he retired a guy in 2024 in a unanimous decision against an 11-4 Valmir da Silva. This is a guy I am pretty excited to see fight. He only has 1 decision win. He has 2 subs and 6 knockouts. A decent sized guy for the division at 6'2". Any thoughts on this? I mean, this is a tough fight for Muhammad Said immediately into the UFC with Justin Jacoby, but another light heavyweight bout where you potentially have another undefeated fighter coming into the ranks. I mean, if you're going to beat the number 10 guy in the meta, you got to immediately be talking about a bigger fight. What do you think about Muhammad Said versus Justin Jacoby?
Yeah, I mean, for light heavyweight division, you just hope one of these guys just wins in crazy fashion or something, because they need this fire. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Dustin Jacoby here. I think that he obviously is more of the veteran and has been there, and I think that I think he just deserves to have that spotlight. And he has good attributes. He has 13 first-round finishes as professional fighter for UFC. He's been through the gauntlet. His last win is against who? Walker?
Julius Walker, Juice Box, yeah.
Yeah, who won his second round TKO, KO. But yeah, I mean, It's hard to say against percent because we don't have a lot of stats or information on him. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Jacoby. So yeah,
Another fighter I'm interested to talk about this weekend. I'm sure you already have him highlighted on your card.
let me
Walter
guess.
Walker. He is the heel hook legend. He is the premier featured bout on the prelims. He, Walter Walker. Is it 3 or 4? I'm gonna check myself here. Heel hook submission wins in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel hook submission wins in a row. It's absolutely insane. So first off, I'm looking for a Walter Walker heel hook submission, but he's not fighting a can this week. Do not get me wrong, and nor has he been. And it's kind of hard to if you're trying to climb the ranks in light heavyweight.
He's a heavyweight.
Yeah, and heavyweight. Excuse me. He is fighting Thomas Peterson, the train, who did win last time out in a majority decision against Gumir Pat. I do think he's actually able to get the heel hook submission. So my question for you is: do we make it 5 in a row for Walter Walker heel hook submissions this weekend in UAE?
I don't probably not. Peterson's takedown defense is 88%, which is pretty freaking good for a heavyweight. You know, this might be a really close fight actually. I mean, it's the main event on the prelims. It's very close odds. Walter Walker, I think, is just more of like a popular guy. He is ranked in the heavyweights at number 11, so that's pretty good. Yeah, F it, man. Go for 5 in a row. Shoot, I would watch out though. I mean, Peterson's striking action is 60%, which is really good. So the chin of Walker is going to have to be tested, and his takedown defense is very good. So I would not be surprised if Walker loses this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of leaning towards Peterson right here. He's got really good takedown defense. He's got really good striking accuracy. He won by majority his last time out in a 3-round fight just in April. He just fought in April. So I'm actually gonna go Peterson here. I think this is maybe Walker tries to shoot and Peterson probably catches him with a knee or something here because the takedown defense is there for Peterson, unlike the other opponents that Walker has faced.
3 more fights I want to cover. First includes John Pork.
Yes,
Mohamed,
John Pork's a lock.
Zanukov. I disagree. He is fighting Damian Reshpecki, 10-0 out of Poland. Reshpecki has 9 finishes out of his 10 wins, 5 by submission.
John Pork.
He won by unanimous decision last time out on WOW 29, but had a liver punch finish. Won by punches, flying knee, and rear naked choke the 4 bouts before that. I think this is an absolute banger of a fight to throw John Pork in right off the bat. Now, John Pork, he's a dog, and he looks like a dog on the Dana White's Contender Series. But he did win by decision, and he won by decision his last 2 fights for the UAE Warriors. I'm going to actually fade the public here. I am going to be going with Damian Reshpecki here to beat John Pork, which is going to absolutely shock the MMA world. Do not sleep on the Polish dudes, especially early on in their UFC careers. What are you looking out of John Pork's debut in the UFC?
Oh my gosh. I just think of all the Islam clips. They're so funny. He looks like John Pork. That's really funny. But I think what weight is he? Lightweight?
Lightweight.
Oh boy. I just, unfortunately this might be a little like name bias here is why the odds are so shifted. So I do like the Polish guy and probably being it really closer than usual. But yeah, I'm just gonna go John Pork. He's got 5 wins by knockout, 4 first-round finishes. He's popular, he's a popular Russian or / Dagestani or whatever. I think he's going to get pushed pretty hard, especially in a stacked division. You can make him fight a lot of popular names in lightweight. So, yeah, give me John Pork.
All right, 2 more fights. The co-main event, Steve Erceg, who has been in better form recently for the UFC, won last time out against Tim Elliott, who was the number 12 flyweight. He then, before that, beat the Jamaican sensation, Ode Osborne. But, in 2025, he lost to Brendan Moreno. Now, Moreno's no joke, don't get me wrong, but Steve Erceg's kind of a decision merchant. They did not give Steve Erceg no layup this week in the UAE. He is fighting 19-2 Ramazan Tamirov, who is looking to get into the flyweight ranks. Tamirov,
Beat Charles Johnson.
yeah, beat Charles Johnson in unanimous decision. Finished CJ Vergara back in 24 in the first round. He comes from the Ryzen promotion. He does some grappling with Mangu Professional. I'm excited for this fight. I absolutely think that Ramazan Tamirov pieces up Steve Erceg. I am not a big Steve Erceg fan nor believer. What do you take out of the co-main?
Yeah, I agree. I think Ramazan's gonna mess him up. I'm not gonna lie. Ursig looks to be on the decline of his UFC career, and he is given an absolute beast of a test right here and Ramazan. So I agree. This could end very quick. I'm not gonna lie.
Finally, the main event, I think a lot of people are sleeping on in terms of just absolutely penciling in Ankalaev for the win. We do have Magomed Ankalaev versus Bogdan Guskov. Guskov 18-3-1, Ankalaev 21-2-1. Everyone knows Ankalaev's history, but quickly just to recap it, he did fight for the title against Alex Poatan Pereira. He did get finished in the first round. Before that, as champion, he did defeat Poatan in a unanimous decision. He has beaten the names of Alexander Rakic, Johnny Walker, drew with Jan Blachowicz now, and had no contest against Johnny Walker as well. But I think it was interesting to drop this draw. You notice both guys have a draw with in their record. Both are against Jan Blachowicz. A majority decision draw.
USC math right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it just does not make any sense.
And that was the last fight out for Bogdan. He does have, and I think, two really interesting wins on here, and they were both finishes. Nikita Krylov was finished by Bogdan, and so was Billy Elikana. And Billy Elikana, who was 7-1 at the time, he's 10-2 now, the son of Susie. Yes, everything in your mind tells you that Magomed is going to win by decision here. But I would absolutely, especially after Magomed got finished last time out, do not count out Bogdan Guskov getting a finish here in the main event at the UAE. And I'm actually going to officially take Bogdan Guskov to get it done against Magomed Ankalaev, especially for the price. The price is what really does it for me at plus 400. It's absolutely a guy I'm willing to put some change on. What do you think about the main event in the light heavyweight division? Number 1, Magomed Ankalaev versus number 9, Bogdan Guskov.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that stands out to me with Bogdan is that he has 13 first-round finishes, which is insane out of his 18 wins.
The hitman.
Yeah, so obviously he is that one-punch knockout, and we obviously seen Ankalaev get hit pretty hard and fall, especially against Poatan. But Poatan is a little bit of a different breed. But I don't know. Ankalaev doesn't really wrestle, but he probably did against Poatan. I haven't seen the first Poatan fight. I only saw the second one where he got slept. Not really slept, just the basic TKO, basically, especially for light heavyweights. But yeah, I mean, Ankalaev striking accuracy 53%, has an 88% takedown defense, which is pretty good. Which especially for a guy like Guskov, who maybe likes to wrestle a little. Actually, no, I don't think he does at all. So this is going to be a box.
A boxing match, and that's why I think it favors Guskov.
Yeah, I mean, that Poatan punch was just so weird. It was back of the head. It wasn't even really like it tested Ankalaev's chin. But that'd be pretty cool for him to come on a little bit of short notice and win. But I am going to take Ankalaev here, probably.
Yeah, you do have to know it is short notice.
I think Ankalaev learned his lesson from Poatan. Probably going to keep his distance a little more and, yeah, get the W. And then probably, I don't even know what's next for the light heavyweight division. He would probably get the title shot, and it'd probably be him. Honestly, I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing Jiri fight. I would like to see him fight Paulo Costa for the light heavyweight. I know Paulo only has one fight under his belt at light heavyweight, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, if Magomed Ankalaev wins this, he is going to inevitably. I think Carlos Ulberg I guess they're holding out on him
He's
recovering from his
no,
injury. I
no.
mean,
There's not. There's no
what are we
way.
doing? I mean, like, why is there not an interim belt already on the line? I mean, hell, I wouldn't even mind it being this fight.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. That wouldn't be a bad idea, except for I don't know. If it was a title fight, I don't know. Especially because it's originally supposed to be Roundtree. Roundtree definitely does not deserve a title
No, he
fight.
is not. Well,
Oh,
he's fifth in the rank. I
he
mean,
is
you know.
fifth, but he lost to Jiri. He beat Jamal Hill, and then he lost to Pereira. So I just, when I don't know.
There is a lot to dissect with the UFC
The light heavyweight
right now.
division is a mess, but not as much of a mess as the bantamweight division.
The bantamweight division is an absolute shit.
But just put Paulo Costa in there. To be honest, I think he deserves it. He beat Murzakov,
beat Roman Kopylov.
but was Kopylov light heavyweight? I don't think so.
No, I think that was like news welter. Anyway,
Middle.
Excuse me. Yeah. So, interesting card coming up in the UAE. We will be tackling a card of our own this weekend, aka 56 over at the Southland Casino tent. Going to go see some absolute grassroots MMA this weekend. I'll tell you what. It'll be interesting for sure. Michael, let's talk a little bit about the MLS that happens tomorrow. We have the Vancouver Whitecaps against FC Cincinnati. Now, not all of the World Cup players are back, like Messi and Luis Suarez Jr. Luis Suarez, while he was not in the World Cup, was sure partying at the World Cup, so he is not ready to return to Miami. I mean, it's the MLS. I'm looking forward to Inter Miami versus Chicago Fire. Chicago should be debuting Robert Lewandowski here, so I'm going to take Chicago Fire on that. Obviously, I will be supporting Chicago Fire this MLS season with Lewandowski. But the best game overall has to be LAFC against Real Salt Lake. I hope to see Song Heung-min
Yes.
in there for LAFC. It's on Fox Sports 1. But Real Salt Lake is no joke. I've got it as a 2-2 draw. But it'll be interesting to see. I guess I just wanted to touch on the fact that the MLS existed. Anything else going on in the world of sports you want to touch on?
Yeah. We can get into some college football stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to name off basically the popular new head coaches that are in college football. And I want you to give me who you think is going to have the most success in year one. So we got John Summerall, who was at Tulane and now is at Florida.
Where was he at before Tulane? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
He's at Troy.
Thank you.
But yes, formerly Tulane, now at Florida. Kyle Whittington, who was the coach at Utah and is now at Michigan. We got Eric Morris, who was the North Texas coach, and now he's at Oklahoma State. We have Will Stein, who was the offensive coordinator at Oregon, and now he's the head coach at Kentucky.
Yep.
Brian Hartline, who was the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, and now he is the head coach at USF. And then, of course, USF's coach, Alex Golesh, is now at Auburn. And then Charles Huff, who was at Southern Miss, is now at Memphis.
You forgot one key player, Ryan Silverfield, who is now at Arkansas.
Sure. We can do Ryan Silverfield.
Ryan Silverfield was not going to be on my top producer.
It was, I didn't think you were going to.
I mean, I'm on all those guys, to be honest with you.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to slide your paper over here, I'll go one by one.
It's just the guys.
Yep. So, John Summerall, I think, is going to knock it out of the park in Florida. One, because I played for the guy at Troy, and I am a true believer he is probably the next Nick Saban. They also had an absolute unbelievable recruiting class. I think this is a 9-3 Florida team, which is going to be the best team Florida has had in recent history. Kyle Whittington, I think, underperforms at Michigan. I think Michigan's got a lot of internal issues going on right now, especially with the athletic director probably about to step down. I think he gets fired in year one? No, but he also has had quite a few disappointing seasons at Utah over the past few years. And I think it's more of a 7-5, 8-4 team for Michigan, even though they still have Bryce Underwood at quarterback and a lot of talent. Eric Morris basically brought North Texas to Oklahoma State. Yeah. I do not know how that's going to translate. Now, I do think Drew Messemaker is an absolute dog at quarterback, and they should be able to score some points. I just don't know how the defense is going to hold up. I do not think they make a bowl game this year. However, I do think it'll be better than the absolute horrific shit show that occurred for the Pokes last year. Will Stein is kind of my biggest question mark. He is going to Kentucky from Oregon as the offensive coordinator. Yes, I do think Kentucky may be able to score, but this is an SEC gauntlet, Michael, as you know, as we're both state fans, that it's not so easy to turn a roster over and be immediately competitive. It's a good season for them if they go 6-6. I think they could achieve that mark for sure. I think Brian Hartline is going to absolutely murder G5 programs at USF. I think this is going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with, and I actually think USF is going to be my G5 qualifier. And they're going to compete with Troy. I think Troy is absolutely going to be up there in the Sun Belt. I saw someone put out there that they're going to go 11-1 with one loss to Missouri. And so, Troy was the coach's preseason pick to win the Sun Belt this year. So I do think Brian Hartline absolutely will contend for the Group of 5 spot at USF. Who else do we have to touch on? Oh, yeah. Look, he gets a lot of shit. I'm a big believer in Alex Golesh. And I'm a big believer in Alex Golesh, especially at Auburn, especially since he brought his quarterback to be a day one starter. That was a big problem for Hugh Freeze with the quarterback position. They have a proven quarterback at Byron Brown, who competed at a high level at USF, competed against programs like Bama. I think it'd be poetic. And for all the close calls that Bama had with USF, for Byron Brown to go win the Iron Bowl at Auburn in his senior year at Alabama, a team that I do not know how they're going to produce this year.
Well, you just don't know how Alabama's going to be because you don't know who's their starting
I think Auburn goes 8-4 or better. I think Auburn's going to be a damn good team this year. He brought in a very good transfer portal recruiting class, and I'm a very big believer in Golesh's philosophy, and we saw that at USF and how he developed that program. I think it's going to be a very good hire for Auburn in the long run. And just to preface this, I do think Summerall is going to be the best performing new head coach. But let's talk about Charles Huff for a second. I think this is going to be a very down year for Memphis. I am not a big believer in Charles Huff at all. And we are a Memphis, based podcast. So I guess we can elaborate a little bit on the Tigers. They have an absolute fucking gauntlet of a schedule. And I do want to pull it up. Now they are, and I guess certain analytics disagree with me, but I think the American is one of the weakest conferences in the country. They're very top heavy, but in terms of depth, there's a lot of cupcake games like Charlotte, like Temple. East Carolina's going to have a bad year this year. So, I mean, UNLV, I think, is a loss. I do not think they go into Dan Mullen into Vegas and beat Dan Mullen's team. I think Arkansas State is on alert for a loss. I think Butch Jones's team is going to be very good in the Sun Belt this year. Boise State's going to be a loss. I just noticed that. And so you which the game's on USA, which is very interesting.
That is interesting.
You very well could be staring at 0-3. And that it would be absolute worst case scenario for Memphis.
Yeah, but if they start 2-1, they're making the playoffs is what the whole thing is.
Yeah, and you have an argument for that. I just think there's no way they are.
I can totally see they are. I think
Charles Huff and at Southern Miss, you saw this, and at Marshall at most seasons, you saw this, except for the one fluke year where Troy had a down year, where JMU had a down year, where everybody had a down year, where it was Marshall versus Louisiana in the Sun Belt Championship game where he won the Sun Belt. That is what's gotten him these head coaching jobs, is this one Sun Belt Conference Championship win. Charles Huff is not that great of a coach. He went 7-5 with that Marshall roster at Southern Miss, plus some more transfers in from local schools like Mississippi State and Ole Miss, with guys who weren't getting playing time that were higher talent level to start at Southern Miss. He started out hot. I think they were like 5-1, ended up going 7-5. I mean, completely floundered at the end of the season. I was recruited by Southern Miss, so I kind of know their entire, thing. They really work the hell out of these players. And I think that kind of wears on you as you go longer into the season. And I think that's why his team's kind of run out of gas, but still going through the schedule. I mean, they should absolutely slaughter UT Martin, Charlotte, and UAB in the middle of the season. So you could be looking at, let's say they beat Arkansas State. Well, all of a sudden now you're 4-2, and that's kind of where he was sitting at with Southern Miss. Tulane, East Carolina, Army, South Florida, Navy is an absolute awful stretch.
South Florida game's going to be good.
Awful stretch.
Tulane game.
And the Navy game will be good. I mean, and they got to go to Navy. They got to go to South Florida. They get Army at home. With the armed forces, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, Army could very well be a loss. And they end the season with Temple. I think it's going to be a very down year for Memphis. I think 7-5 is a very realistic number, which certain people will not want to hear. There's a lot of hype in the city. I'm sure you've been reading about Charles Huff, being the guy. Charles Huff's going to be great for Memphis. We're so happy to get rid of Silverfield. You're going to find out real quick how bad it's going to be without Silverfield without this really what stems from Justin Fuente's coaching tree, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for the Tigers, and I think Charles Huff's out in 3 years. But I'll pivot to you. Who do you think's going to perform the best, and who's going to perform the worst out of the new head coaches?
I think Eric Morris is definitely going
Oh,
to
and
perform the
I guess
worst.
so. I will, in terms of standard, Summerall the best, Huff the worst.
Interesting. I would not say that. I'm going to put Alex Golich as my last. I think Auburn's not going to have a very good year. I think that bringing his G5 players to the SEC is going to be a rude awakening. I don't think that Byron Brown is just going to be able to scramble around and run and do all the things he did at USF. And also, USF turned the ball over so much last year. And
Yeah, they did. They did have a
they're
turnover.
very bad at turnovers, which you just cannot do in a Power Four. So I'm not big on Alex Golesh. I just think that he needs a couple years under
He
his
did
belt.
bring in 39 transfers.
I mean, no crap he did. I mean, he brought in basically a lot of his team and stuff. When you have a new head coach, you're going to bring in a bunch of transfers. It's interesting that you said Summerall is going to be the best, but you have Hartline making the playoffs for USF. But
Well, I mean, but okay, I guess. Yeah, I guess that means I think Hartline is going to perform the best, but he's also got a G5 schedule.
yes,
Yeah,
no,
I
that's
think
true.
I think Summerall's 9-3. One could get them in the playoffs, and two, I think it's going to be way more shined upon than Brian Hartline. But and
I don't know. I think first year head coaches in the SEC come from G5 never turn out well in their first year. Uh, I'm not saying they're going to be terrible, but I don't think Florida is going to be 9-3. They got Ole Miss, they got Texas, they got Oklahoma, they got Georgia. So, you know,
all right, I'll argue with you. Finish your point. Who's going to be the best and who's going to be the worst?
I am going to go for most comfortable. I think Whittingham's a really good coach at Michigan, and our co-host Luke, I wish he was there. He would definitely back me up on this, but I think that he is going to have probably the most wins out of them. And I just am I am a homer in a bandwagon for Oregon, and I think Will Stein's gonna turn some heads this year. I think Kentucky is gonna be pretty good. They don't have the hardest schedule. They have at A&M, but they have Bama at home. They have South Carolina, Vandy, Missouri, like Florida. That Kentucky Florida game is gonna be really good. But I just I just like Will Stein and I like his offense. I like his offense at Oregon. Oregon's offense was very good when he was there. I think that he is going to turn some heads, and I think he is probably like he is an SEC coach. John Summerall is number one. That dude is an SEC coach. When you look at John Summerall, he is like that dude belongs to coach in the SEC. And I think Will Stein is number two there. And I think he's going to turn some heads. Now, he's probably going to go 7-5, which would be very successful.
6-6.
That's very successful as your first year in the SEC. I think Golesh and Auburn will probably win 4 games, maybe even 3. So
Really?
yeah, I don't know, dude. Like
Auburn's schedule is not terrible. Pull it up. I mean, it's really
they play State. I think State's gonna beat them. Is the problem?
well. I mean,
It's like,
I'm sure you and I'm sure my significant other will all be at this game. So I do hope State lays an absolute ass whooping on them.
yeah, Auburn's got Baylor
I
to
think they
start
beat
the
Baylor.
year.
I think they beat Baylor. And I think they beat Southern Miss. I think they lose to Florida. I think they beat Auburn. I think
They
beat
got
Tennessee. and I
this
think they
stretch
lose
is
to Georgia.
brutal. They got at Tennessee, at Georgia, against LSU, at Ole Miss. That's brutal. They might go 0-5.
I do think Ole Miss is going to underperform this
Or
year.
0-4.
We're not ready to have that conversation. First year head coach Pete Golding. Let's delve into Pete Golding real quick because I feel like we both have very interesting takes for especially our Ole Miss viewers on how we think Pete Golding's going to do this year. So I want to hear you first. How is Pete Golding going to do in year one of the Pete fleet at Ole Miss?
Um, you know,
And they are returning Trinidad Chambliss and Keywan Lacy.
that's why I have them probably winning 9 or 10 games. Now, the standard at Ole Miss basically now is to make the college football playoff because once you get that taste, get that sniff of like, oh my gosh, we were a couple games, get plays, not games, plays, a couple of plays away from playing in the national championship. I mean, you expect that every year, which is rightfully so. If you make it to the college football semifinals, you should expect to be there now every single year. And Ole Miss, they got some tough games. They got at Texas, at Oklahoma, home against Georgia, away at Florida. And then, of course, the game everyone is going to be talking about literally until it happens and after it happens is the LSU game. So they do have a little bit of a harder schedule than normal. Now, I don't think they lose all those games, especially
Would you
because,
consider the LSU game a season-defining game for this team?
you know, it is the third game of the year, which is
I don't think if you're Ole Miss, you can bounce back from losing.
it would be hard. And I don't think they're going to win the game just because that's how Lane Kiffin
is. Dude, Lane Kiffin is going to storm in there and win this football game.
But I like Ole Miss's roster a lot better than LSU's roster. Now, yes, LSU has, I think it's Green, the tight end, Trades Green.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Trades.
The very tall tight end. But you know me as a Mississippi State fan, I'm just not a big believer in Sam Levitt. He had Jordan Tyson carry him. I'm not going to lie. He's a very good receiver.
But he's going to have Charlie Weiss calling plays for him.
Yes. Now, that's why Ole Miss is just so weird. The LSU game is going to tell us all we need to know about Ole Miss
I guess
because
Lane Kiffin is a first-year head coach,
yes,
too.
no, Lane Kiffin's not a first-year coach.
I mean, he is at LSU.
Yeah, that is LSU, but
I know what you're going for.
just newer guys that
Yeah.
hitting the spotlight more. The spotlight's always on Lane Kiffin, but you just I'm interested to see how the offense is because they don't have the weapons on the outside like they did last year with Lee and I think it's Stringling,
Yeah,
who got drafted by the 49ers. I forgot how to say his last name, but he went
like
off against
Stringling or
Georgia.
something like that.
Yeah, he went off against Georgia. So now defenses are just going to key on Keywan Lacey and going to go
Yeah,
run first, which is tough. It's going to be tough.
Especially when your quarterback's kind of known for scrambling, too.
Yeah.
They are going to set the ends on
Yeah,
containment.
they are. Especially because they know how good Trinidad and Keywan Lacey are. Ole Miss is going to get their wins this year. I mean,
Michael, I've got 5 losses I can talk about right now.
well, yeah, you're going to name LSU, Florida. You just go. Yeah, I know what losses you're
All
going to
right,
name.
which 5 losses?
You're going to go Oklahoma, Georgia, Texas, Florida, and LSU.
I think those are guaranteed.
They're not guaranteed.
Okay, it's not guaranteed. I would absolutely put my money right now on the team Ole Miss is playing. I think they lose at Florida.
I think that's interesting that they play Oklahoma again away, even
Yes.
though they played at Oklahoma.
Well, yeah, the
last year.
goofy 16-team SEC cycles now. It's kind of
It's just weird. Like,
is
why
weird.
didn't you just flip that
no,
after
they
played last year?
they got hoed for
They got
sure.
screwed playing at
Um,
Oklahoma and at Texas.
So they got to play at Oklahoma, at Texas. I'm gonna chalk those up as losses. I mean, Mateer is back for Oklahoma. They got.
You might as well just say F it, especially with our podcast. We just got to push all our chips into Mateer.
Mateer. We're all in on Mateer this year, brother. I mean, you've got to play LSU, and like we both kind of agree, it's just a game Lane Kiffin wins. That's gonna be a heartbreaker. Then you got to go to the Swamp, and Florida's probably gonna be 3-0 at this point. I think they lose that game. I'm not pushing them past losing Vanderbilt.
Dude, your delusion on Vanderbilt this year is beyond me. They're not even. I'm pretty sure it's coming out that Curtis is not even the starting quarterback.
Look, Jared Curtis is going to be the truth for Vanderbilt. And
But he's
will
not
be-
even
he
starting.
He will be the starting.
No, he
quarterback
will
at that
not.
point. I'm really not a big believer in Jared Curtis. I'm a big believer in Clark Lee.
Yes,
I'm
he's a great
big
coach.
fan of Clark Lee. And I think Vanderbilt has every opportunity in the world to win that game. I mean, Missouri's not going to be shit this year either. I mean, Ahmad Hardy's going to be back from his gunshot wound at that point.
And that's Austin Simmons and Caden Lee playing them.
I mean, Michael, this schedule for Ole Miss, it is not insane to say they will not make a bowl game. It is not insane to say that.
It's insane to say that. It's very insane to say that.
I mean, everything would have to go wrong.
it's very insane to say that, but
But look at their schedule. It's not crazy.
they have 1, 2, 3.
Michael, they're due for an Egg Bowl loss, and you know that.
They're not.
They're due for an Egg Bowl loss, and you know that.
This would be the year just because it's year 1 under Pete, but I don't know. I don't see him losing the Egg Bowl. Don't see him losing to Wofford, Auburn.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll give them Wofford. I'm giving them Louisville, Charlotte, Wofford. I'll give them Vanderbilt. That's win 4. I'll give them Mississippi State. That's win 5. I'll give them Auburn. That's win 6.
And then they got Missouri, which is win 7 for sure.
Yeah, so that's what I said, 7 and 5.
You said they weren't making a bowl.
I said it's not an unrealistic possibility. I said they won't make a bowl game.
No, I mean, I guess technically it's not out of the realm of
I
possibility.
mean, it's really not. We could be sitting here at this table at week 5 for Vanderbilt Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is sitting at 2-2.
I promise you, though, if they're 4-0, that's going to be a dang good.
If they're
football team.
4-0, I'm going to take a future on Ole Miss to win the national championship. If they can beat LSU and then go to the Swamp and win, Ole Miss is the real deal.
Yeah.
However, that shit ain't going to happen. And you can book it right now. It's just not. They're going to lose to Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, they're going to lose to Georgia, and they're going to lose to LSU. This is not a playoff team this year, for sure. Obviously, the schedule allows it to be. If they go 9-3, they could.
The schedule allows them to be a 9-loss team for sure and be in it. I mean, if your losses are to Texas, Georgia, and LSU, or Texas, Georgia, and Oklahoma, then that is a strong 9-3. So
it's a 9-3.
Ole Miss is definitely going to be on everyone's eye this year.
And I guess we'll recap, or we'll end this little segment, Michael, with talking about the Dogs. A hot topic right now is Mississippi State football. As, they were featured on some Picnic Talk.
It's bad.
It's bad. It's a bad look. However, bad looks can be a good thing, Michael.
If I'm the coach, you had a very different opinion.
I think they ran the shit out of them.
I seriously doubt they did. I think that would just mess up team morale. I'm not gonna lie. I would just say don't do that crap again. But that's why I'm not a head coach. I don't know what the heck I would do in that situation.
They definitely had.
Mississippi State has the second hardest SEC schedule behind, I think, Georgia. I could be
that or Ole Miss. I mean,
yeah, we got Bama.
Can we make a bowl game, Michael? Can we make a bowl game this year?
Yes, I think that their SEC schedule is very lopsided. We have the top and the bottom. We don't have a lot of middle teams like a Kentucky or a Florida, or I don't know, like Kentucky, Florida, or
last year. You talking about last year's games?
No, this year's teams.
But playing the middle teams like last year.
Yeah, where we lost, like
Missouri. At Missouri was a tough draw last year.
Yeah, we got Missouri at home. The one thing I like is that we have South Carolina early
on the road. It's a big momentum builder,
especially after we have Minnesota away.
I think that's a win. I don't think
it's a tough game. It's a tough away game to start
on CBS.
Yeah, on CBS, SEC on CBS against Minnesota. I would like to ride that and hopefully win and just go on like a nice away stretch win and then at South Carolina.
Beat Missouri after that.
And then you're 4-0 going into Bama at home.
Look, if we're 4-0 going into Bama at home, you bet your ass I won't be missing that game because I think this is a year, if that is the case, State could beat Bama. I don't think Bama's going to beat.
Bama's such an interesting team. I can't wait because it's actually a new Bama-ish. We're like,
this is not Saban's Bama anymore.
No, you got Russell and Mack, right, starting for the quarterback position. We still don't know who's going to be it. There's actually a couple quarterback positions we don't know. We don't know Bama's and we don't know Tennessee's.
But we do know Mississippi State's.
Yes, and it is Mario Taylor.
And I think he's an X factor, Michael, with Fluff Bothwell in the backfield. I think this State offense is going to score some damn points.
He's already gotten some traction in the offseason from the Manning Passing Academy when you had like just reporters in there and just seeing him in person. I mean, he's a huge dude. He's like 6'4", 210, 215 pounds. He's a beast. His throwing accuracy was not the best. So hopefully he worked on that a lot this season. And I'm afraid hopefully he skates off the injuries because he's not afraid to run and lower his shoulder, which, I mean, you can get banged up as a big quarterback like that. But, hopefully Mississippi State gets a legit bowl season of 6-6 or 7-5, not a 5-7.
Yeah, you got to run your non-conference. You got to beat Monroe. You got to beat Minnesota. You got to beat Tennessee Tech. That's a given. You should beat Auburn. You should beat Vanderbilt.
You should beat one or two of Missouri or Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got some big home games. I'll be at the Oklahoma game for Parents Weekend.
Then you got Bama
Got Bama at home. You
at
got
LSU.
Auburn at home. I mean, there are a lot of winnable games out here for the Dogs, man.
There is.
And I'm excited for this team. I'm excited to see Kelly Jones flourish in that secondary. Despite what recent TikToks say he may or may not do.
Kelly Jones is a dog.
He's a
man.
dog. It's Jones Island. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap it up with your EPL team?
Yeah, I got one more thing. This will be quick. Going back to the NFL, this is I just kind of made this up on the name title. We're gonna go snag or sit. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm going into fantasy drafts, there's just certain guys that like basically no matter what, I'm just kind of going to stay away from them just because maybe it's quarterback situation, maybe it's they brought in new players or just you just don't know if like they're gonna have the same maybe good season back to back or maybe they're just straight falling off. So I'm gonna give you four guys
Okay.
and just tell me basically like if you're comfortable with drafting them no matter what round.
If they fall to you,
Just
you're
like if
comfortable
they're
drafting them?
at their average draft position,
Okay.
if they're there, are you taking them or are you like, this is too much risk? First guy who is the guy that I've been on my mind and I'm just don't know what to do with him is Drake London. Now, it's probably going to be Tua at the quarterback helm because of Michael Penix's ACL injury. Drake London was wide receiver 19 last year on 12 games played, which is absolutely insane because he beat out some guys that played 17 and 16 games that you might be comparing him against to, as in a guys like, let's look for 1 second. I had it pulled up. Drake London played 12 games, and guys behind him that played 17 would be Devontae Smith, Justin Jefferson, and Emeka Mbuka. Now that's where you're like, whoa, he was really good in those 12 games. Right now, he is average drafted at wide receiver 7. So he's projected top 10 in wide receivers. So I want to give your intake on if Drake London falls to you, are you snagging him or are you just letting him sit and slide?
I'm absolutely snagging Drake London. Obviously, I mean, I don't think Michael Penix is some unbelievable quarterback. Neither are we saying Kirk Cousins is.
No, it's Michael Penix and Tua.
Last year,
Okay, yeah.
it was Penix and Cousins.
No, you're right.
And he still, was wide receiver 19 in 12 games.
Yeah.
Michael, I think, and I think you know this too. Sometimes, and maybe not much as football, but especially like hockey or baseball, some guys need a fresh start on a new team. I think Tua needs a fresh start. He needs to get out of Miami. And I think this is going to be. I think Tua has a chance to flourish. I mean, this is a quarterback that was pretty good early in his career before all the concussions. Now, could the brain damage play a role? For sure. But yeah, I'm absolutely snagging Drake London. He's an absolute dog.
Did you have him last year?
I did, and he
Okay.
I kept him. I waited and waited and waited, and the day he became available, I plugged him into the lineup, and he flourished. And I will absolutely take that flyer again on Drake London. You
Yeah.
snagging or sitting him?
It's tough, man. It's really tough. Because I'm just a wide receiver guy, so
He played wide receiver in high school, guys.
I love analyzing all of it, and he's a great receiver. He produces on that offense. I might be sold on him. The injuries do concern me a little. I'm going to pick Devontae Smith over him this year for sure. I just think that Devontae Smith is such a good wide receiver.
And he's going to have to be.
And he's going to have to be on that offense. But yeah, I think I would snag him in the right scenario. I don't think I'm going to not touch him. Yeah, just because of what he proved in last year. I mean, he proved all the haters wrong. Even though he had a little injury concerns, he was very good. He averaged 16 points per fantasy game, which is pretty freaking good.
Yeah, that is.
But the next guy who last year all of us definitely would have said to sit and let him go, but then he proved us wrong in his old age is Derrick Henry. What are you doing with Derrick Henry? He was running back 8 last year, and he is projected around running back 11 to be drafted this year. What are you doing with Derrick Henry?
I'm passing. I'm going to do it 2 years in a row, and maybe I'll get bit for it. So I get some sitting him. I just think there's so many better options this year, and I think it's a pretty deep running back class for fantasy football that I know, and I know you're not said that they'll take round into consideration, but you know it's going to be early when Derrick Henry goes. I just don't think I'm comfortable making Derrick Henry my RB1. So I'm going to pass on Derrick Henry. Now, granted, obviously, as anyone should, he falls to me in like the sixth or seventh
If you
round.
can get him as your RB2,
Yeah, absolutely.
probably take him.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind. Because he will be as solid as an RB2. But dude, he's getting
Because he's just going to get that volume.
yes. But there is there's a lifespan on these running
There
backs,
is.
and he is reaching the end to that really productive lifespan. This could be the year we see the fall. And I think it was really a strong second half of the season that carried these statistics for Derrick Henry, which is promising if you're talking about long-term output. But I am going to pass on Derrick Henry. I would absolutely select running backs like Devon Achane, like Kenneth Walker, like even like a Javonte Williams before I would select Derrick Henry this year.
Yeah. I mean, he's always a big question mark because, I mean, if you can get him at the right time, I mean, it's a fantasy winning pick, basically, because you basically get an RB1 as your RB2. But you're like you were saying on just the running back timeline is just not very long. And you just don't know if he's just gonna if he's like has one of those like older injuries where like it's something that just lingers throughout the whole year, or if he has like another different kind of injury. But yeah, I'm gonna stay away from Henry as well. I just didn't like him last year, and he proved us wrong. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, then good for you. So I'm not gonna touch him. Now, we literally did not make this up. I wrote this like 30 minutes ago, but my next guy is Chris Olave. Chris Olave was wide receiver 6 to end last year, which was shocked me when I was looking at the rankings of who finished in wide receivers in fantasy last year. Chris Olave was wide receiver 6, which is so good for, you could say, he was probably the best receiver on the worst team, as in wide receiver 6 on the Saints. And he is going around double that. He's going as wide receiver 12, which is wide receiver 12 of last year is Jameson Williams, and then 13's Cortland Sutton, and 14's Wan'Dale Robinson, which you would absolutely probably take Chris Olave over those guys. So what are your thoughts on Chris Olave? As what you said earlier, maybe he's falling off and Tyson might take the role, which was probably why he's projected lower, is because Tyson's going to take those, reps and receptions from him. But yeah, give me your thoughts on Chris Olave.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on Olave. One of two reasons. One, yes, I'm a believer in Shuck, and I do think this Saints team will be better. I don't think it's going to be better enough for the volume of 2 receivers to flourish. I think Jordan Tyson's going to take a majority of these targets, or a sizable amount of these targets away from Olave, which is going to hurt his fantasy numbers. Would I take him as a wide receiver 3? Sure. But as a wide receiver 2 or 1, I don't feel comfortable.
So like as a flex, basically?
As a flex, yeah.
Because what we have 2 wide receivers, right?
Yeah, we took 2 wide receivers. Now we have a flex, a super flex. And no, not super, no quarterbacks.
No, that's sleeper. Yeah. And sleeper, I have 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 2 flexes.
Yeah. So, no, I'm going to pass on Olave. Kind of doubling down on what I said earlier. I think Tyson's going to take a volume away from him, which is going to hurt his numbers, which have been poor over, if you're talking about a span of 5 years, very poor. It was better last year, obviously, but I think it's going to be a down year for Olave. How about you?
I'm snagging him, especially at what his average draft position is right now, wide receiver 12 or projected. He had his first healthy season. He played 16 out of 17 games, which is very good. Very good sign for Chris Olave, as he's been, had some injuries in the past. And I think with that competent quarterback, you can be successful in a 2-receiver system.
Well, yeah, you see it with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens.
Okay, well, we're not comparing Tyson and Olave to CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. I agree, though. But like a good comparison, I think, would be like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith.
Sure.
Like those are 2 good receivers that are going to get drafted that you're probably going to put in your starting lineup.
Yeah.
And I think the Saints might be cooking something on the offensive end, and I'm excited to see it. But yeah, I'm snagging Olave as my wide receiver 2 for sure. I think that he He's just a good deep ball threat.
Yeah. Okay. I can buy into it. I'm still probably gonna pass on.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
can buy
that-
into it.
Yeah, and then our last guy is going to be Ashton Genty. Now, Ashton Genty finished as running back 11 last year on the Las Vegas Raiders, and he is actually going a little bit above of what he finished last year. He's going as running back 8. So, what are your thoughts on Genty with Mendoza at the helm? They went and got some offensive linemen as well. You just
Pass.
pass. Okay.
Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas is going to be the RB2 for the Raiders. I am hearing that he is going to be more of a goal line back. So I think Genty, yes, will get the volume on the open field. However, I think Mike Washington Jr. is going to be your red zone back. And I think that is going to be a kind of situation where it's not going to be as well executed as Thunder and Lightning, or what was it? Sonic and
Sonic and
what's his face?
oh my
the
gosh,
red guy.
the red guy.
I don't think it's going to be as effective as Montgomery and Gibbs, but I do think it's going to be. And I'm trying to think of this. Trying to think of a good comparison. Didn't the Dolphins have 2 really good running backs at one point? It was Achane and who?
They had Achan, and then they would just mix it between like Mostert, and Raheem Mostert, and like
You know who I'm talking
yeah,
about.
he's the touchdown merchant.
It was when Achane started getting his red zone touches
Yeah.
stolen by this guy, and I can't remember who it was, but
Oh, I'm pulling it up right now.
you said old, but like it went 1976.
Yeah, no. But hopefully the name would pop up on here somewhere.
Was it Jay Ajayi?
No, it wasn't Jay. It was like it
Kenyon
was,
Drake. I think it was Kenyon Drake, wasn't it? It was Kenyon Drake and Devon Achane, and Drake was getting all the red zone touches.
2024 Dolphins roster. Here we go. Mostert was 2024.
Go to 23. I think it was prior to that.
Y'all didn't make the postseason. Or y'all did make the postseason.
Dolphins didn't always suck.
It was Mostert.
Mostert, yes, I think
'Cause he had-
about Mostert.
It was Mostert. I was right because in
Actually,
20
no, actually, what I'm thinking about is Mostert and Achane started taking his touches in the red zone.
it is the opposite
the
because Mostert had 18 touchdowns in 2023.
Yeah, okay.
Which is insane on only 209 carries.
I think
So,
you're going to kind of see that with
just a little bit same. Or you could be thinking of Williams on the Lions or Saints. Who's that guy?
Oh my God! Yes.
Is it Javonte Williams? Not Javonte Williams, but,
That's our cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking away from Alvin Kamara. Yes, that is 1,000% the kind of vibe I'm getting here from Mike Washington Jr. with the Raiders. So I'm going to pass on Ashton Genty this year. Just because of that, I think it's another thing like Olave and Tyson. I think volume should be a problem. So how about you? What about Ashton Genty?
I'm passing on him. I'm agreeing with you. Jamal Williams. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm passing on him. I am more of you have to prove to me that you are RB1 in order for me to pick you. They just still don't have a wide receiver room other than Brock Bowers. Like they have Trey
They're
Tucker.
going to have to be run heavy.
And they're
So
going to
he's
have to be
gonna
run
take
heavy.
touches.
So yeah, I'm not big on I'm not big on Genty. I mean, if he falls again and he's your RB2, take him as your RB2. But I am not wasting a first or second round pick on Genty. I think there's way more value in other people.
All right. You want to do a one in suicide, or do you want to?
Oh no, we're eliminating one by one.
One by one.
If that won't take, I mean, is that gonna take a while?
Yeah, we're good. That's what I kind of wanted to do.
I mean, it's way more
entertaining.
Entertaining, for
yeah,
sure.
for sure. Yeah. So let's do that. Let me share the wheel.
Yes, sir.
All right.
This is my
Michael,
team.
one by one, we are eliminating your Premier League teams to where we get one, and you are not going to be a fan of Brighton Hove Albion.
That's good.
And I guess I'll pull up last year's table to let you know where they finished or if
Yes.
they were in the championship. Brighton finished in 8th. They will be heading to the Europa League, I believe. No, the Conference League, UEFA Conference League. So they will be playing European football this year, but no Brighton for you. They also have sick American Express jerseys. You will not be a fan of Man
No.
United.
All right, that's a popular team.
Jason, you will not share a team. Man United finished 3rd last year and will be in the Champions League. You will also not be a fan of Liverpool, the Scousers, Paddy the Baddy, Stephen Bunting. You will not be a fan of Liverpool, who finished 5th last year in the Premier League.
Are you deleting them?
They are automatically
Okay,
getting
okay.
deleted. You also
No, they're not.
no, they're not.
Liverpool's on there.
Well, I thought I put it in here. Yeah, remove choice after it landed. Oh, I did not apply wheel changes. You
Just
landed
delete
on
Liverpool,
you landed
Man
on
U,
Brighton.
and Brighton.
Man U and Liverpool. Got it. Sorry, guys.
It's like the wheel didn't look like it was getting big.
Yeah. No, I didn't know if there was that many teams. You're also not going to be a fan of Chelsea.
Okay.
Hitting some of the big ones. Chelsea finished 10th, a little bit of a down year last year for the Blues.
Get those Spurs off my wheel.
Championship comer, Hull City. So they will absolutely be fighting in the relegation battle this year. You're not going to be a fan of Hull City. Crystal Palace.
I don't know who that is.
Crystal
Who is
Palace finished in 15th last year. Palace has an American player on them. I can't remember who.
that? What's crazy is what's his face is still on here. I'll say it after this, unless they get.
You're not going to be a fan of Spurs.
Yes. Ashton Villa is still on there. Who's who I played with last
Yes,
night.
it is. You're not going to be a fan of Nottingham Forest. Forest finished in 16th last year.
There's some good teams still on here.
You. You're not going to be a fan of Aston Villa. Villa finished in 4th last year in the Prem. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. You're not going to be a fan of Coventry City, a newcomer from the championship.
Nice.
You're also not going to be a fan of Brentford, who finished 9th just outside of European football last year. And I believe we're down to 8, maybe? Could be
A
more.
lot of teams. Everton.
No Everton. No Jordan Pickford for
Ah.
you. No Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth finished in 6th last year and will be in the Europa League. We are down to 7 or 8. No, now we're down to 8. It is the quarterfinals. No Holland. No Man City.
That's fine. I mean, I don't want to be the same teams as anyone, right?
That is true.
Is your
Well,
team still on there?
My team is still on there.
Who's your team?
Newcastle United is still
Okay.
on there. We're actually down to 6. Who is going to
Newcastle.
be? It's going to
All
be
right.
Newcastle.
Get in my own
We're
team.
not going to be on the same team. 5 remain. Sunderland. Sunderland finished in 7th last year. So there are 4 remaining.
Who's
Arsenal's
Arsenal's one of them.
the running champions. Leeds United, who finished in 14th.
Oh boy.
Fulham Football Club, who finished in 11th and is home to, I believe, Weston McKennie.
Oh.
And Ipswich Town, who is coming up from the championship.
So they're like just got promoted.
Just got promoted. You're not going to be a fan of the former champions.
That's good. Team, a new upcoming team.
You're not going to be a fan of new championship team, Ipswich Town.
Okay.
It is down to Fulham Football Club, the 11th place team, and Leeds United, the 14th place team.
All right.
Interesting tidbit here that may turn you off from Leeds. I believe Luke Littler is no, it's Luke Humphreys big Leeds.
Give me Fulham. Give me Fulham. I'll be fine with Fulham.
Who is eliminated? Leeds is eliminated. Michael is a Fulham Football Club fan.
All
Let's
right.
give you a little
Give me a little roster check.
sneak peek of, first off, what jersey you got to order now. This is the let's see.
Oh my gosh, I have the Germany goalkeeper,
You do.
Bernard Leno.
Yep. So these are leaked to be the
go.
away team design. If you look at the podcast,
Ooh.
checkerboard. All right, let's see if we can get the home for you.
Trying to look at see if I notice some guys on here.
And I believe this is going to be the home kit.
Oh, Anthony Robinson's on this team. Let's go.
Yes. This should be the home kit, which it's not a bad crest, not a bad kit.
Pretty bland.
So it is a blander kit. And what you missed out on from Leeds.
Oh, they got Red Bull. That's pretty cool.
Is the Red Bull blue and yellow. So congratulations, Michael. You'll be supporting Fulham Football Club.
Let's go
this year. All right. You want to give a hot or not real quick as we conclude the episode?
I'll give a hot or not.
What's hot not?
My hot is the Odyssey. I've seen it twice. It's very good. Very good. Christopher Nolan, the GOAT. He's unbelievable. And the movie is very good, very worth watching. Has some very high highs. Like the highs of the movie are very peak, and it is very good and it's very entertaining. My not is going to be the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm very frustrated on the 2 blown leads in these back-to-back games that we've had against the last game against the Diamondbacks for the series. Lost and we were up 7-0, and then we blew it in the bottom of the 9th against the Angels last night. Shout out O'Brien. The Cardinals need to make some bold moves just in general, to be honest. Like I sent that tweet I sent in the group chat was honestly a joke. Because I love Mason Wynn and I wanted to say. But I could care less what you do with the pitching staff, except for Leary, who just pitched, who has been insane. Leahy, who's been insane his last 5 or 6 games. So, yeah, my not is going to be Cardinals, and I want them to make some moves, whether it is calling up pitchers or just letting them, trading them. But don't mess with any of the infielders or outfielders. So, but yeah, that's my hot nut.
All right, my hot is Dustin Poirier. I think Dustin has handled the it's going to be bad situation about as well as he possibly could.
Agree. And I also think that he was in the right sport to make the mess up, because the UFC sport, like
UFC is more than okay with forgiving this.
It's very forgiving, and it's like not understanding, but obviously what he did is terrible and wrong. Like, but
yeah, people fuck up. He's already on the UFC's official podcast back, Deep Waters.
And he's been posting his sobers.
Yeah, he's
been sober.
And not obviously could be Ariel Helwani. I think he's an absolute scum of the earth. He tried to literally tell Dustin he was a terrible person on his podcast today. And anyway, you fuck up. He's really handled this well. He's trying to make it a better person. He's a whole month sober. And Dustin comes from a very rough background in Lafayette, Louisiana. So him and DC went to the same school. He was like the only white guy at their school. So he came from a rough background. When you're blackout drunk like he was, and you're trying to fight a police officer, I guess where you came from comes out of you. And DP taking some time on 30A this week. So he's just doing all the right steps to kind of rebrand his public image in a positive light and actually come out better from something that happened bad, which I think, if something bad happens, I think it's the best to, try to make as good of a situation out of it for yourself and your family as possible. What's my not going to be? You know what? Fuck it. I'll make my not on the same way. Ariel Helwani. I absolutely hate this guy. And he's on the – so earlier this week, he's had a couple of moments. One, the Josh Boykitt moment.
Was that this week?
I think that was last week, where he literally tried to bait him into saying that they couldn't talk about
certain stuff.
Yeah,
he plays dumb than he is. He's a very smart individual.
Yeah, he tries to play dumb. It really pisses me off. Is people trying to play dumb in order to try to get someone to say something
and try to get views. Basically,
and try to get views. So he had that. He literally interviews Tommy McMillan after the fight. Tries to think he has a vase, He tries to say it like a, some
Yeah.
proper person. What's that vase in the back? It's obviously a bong. He tries to get, and Tommy has, Tommy McMillan being the dog he is, has no an issue bringing out the bong in front of the camera going, it's a bong, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and then today, he literally said to Dustin Poirier, you did say a slur. Well, Dustin Poirier obviously watched Ariel Helwani's interview with Hoykett, goes, well, say it. If you don't say it, I'm not going to know what you're talking about. Was exactly what he said to Hoykett when talking about, the protected group again, talking about the UFC. So Ariel Helwani, you're the scum of the earth. If you somehow get a hold of this, please send me a cease and desist. I will happily fight your ass on it. You are a terrible person.
But it's also interesting that his relationship with Dana has been very on and off, which, Dana sees through BS.
Yeah.
So it just maybe goes to show maybe that I don't think he's the most trusted person. Like he's not a guy that you can.
I don't know why people take interviews with him.
Yeah, he's not a trusted guy. So that's, I think, his probably biggest issue.
All right, well, that'll do it for episode 78. Hopefully you enjoyed the free ball episode with me and the producer. Until next time when we break, I'm sure we'll, break down the upcoming action for this weekend. Have a good night.